And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in our neighborhood. It is I, John D. and Kanika, a.k.a. And Too Much Podcast. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. I'm low energy today.
I hear it. And you know what's so crazy? It's not afternoon. It's early in the morning.
I know.
That's how long I've been up.
You know what I think it is?
What's that?
Last night, that drink we sampled.
Yeah.
So it was like a pre-mixed old fashioned. When I say it was really good, but I think it was super too much good for me because I've been dragging since 4:30 this morning.
Well, I did notice another bottle was open.
I had to finish off that tonic water.
You are something else. You see this? She opened up another bottle to finish off some tonic water.
Only a little bit. I only dropped
and
a
she,
little bit.
And she put some mint leaves.
I did. I put a garnish.
I woke up and I was like, this definitely wasn't out when I was up last night.
I got a problem. Okay, go ahead.
You want to talk about it? You told the world you got a problem. And you know.
No, because it's like I have an issue with not finishing things. I hate leaving, like it'll be a little bit of something left somewhere. It's annoying to me. So then I feel like I got to finish it. You know what? And it's also the idea of, when you were younger, you had to finish your plate. I hate looking at stuff being left on a plate. Well, now I don't mind it. Once I realized I do that. But I hate leaving stuff like a little bit left. I will never be the person who leaves a swallow of orange juice in, I would be that person because I would want to come back and have a swallow of orange juice. I'm yeah, I just don't like to leave a little bit left. Well, and that's what happened.
I remember one year, this was in Orlando. Me and Coop was living together, and we used to save our bottles, like from college, and put highlighters and stuff in them. Yeah. But these bottles, we didn't do that. We just saved the bottles, and we didn't have no liquor. So we grabbed all the bottles and we poured everything we had all into one cup.
Oh.
He said, I am not drinking that. I said, thank you. It's more for me.
Oh my gosh. It was just like all of the little corners.
Yeah, that was just thinking like you sounded like I did when I was in Orlando.
No, because y'all were able to sit there with all them bottles with a little itty bitty bit in there. I would have been topping them things off or something. They would have never made it to collections.
You so crazy. Oh my gosh, you so stupid. Hey, what do you think about situationships for people of all ages?
Define situationships.
I guess they're relationships, but there's no title, and it's kind of a situation. It could develop into more, but if it doesn't, it was never a relationship.
I'm all about it. I feel like you grow more, you learn more, you get more experiences, the more you're involved with people. But I think that I wouldn't be sexually involved with everybody. But definitely I wouldn't mind having relationships with people and feel like I'm, it's not just people I kick it with or I'm dating a bunch of people. It's like, are you saying like we're in a relationship?
No, it can't be a relationship.
It can't.
Because then it's a relationship.
Okay.
A situationship is, if we decide we want to go there, it can be, but if nothing happens, we were never in a relationship. It was a situation.
So, yeah, that's cool. Okay, yeah. I don't think that there's a problem with that because I feel like, sometimes with titles comes even more pressure. And if you're not really, and I would rather somebody tell me they want a situationship,
but isn't
than
that
to
just
act
like a
they want a
relationship?
No, because if we're not saying it, and if it doesn't develop into a committed relationship, then it was never really about anything. I would prefer that.
But I think that people have different ideas of these words.
That's why I said define it.
Yeah, I know, but that's even with the relationship thing, because, you know, looking back in college, I had a bunch of situationships.
Yeah.
And in my head, I probably was in a bunch of relationships with people. But
they were in relationships with you.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm saying. And I looked at it like, you know, I look at things like I was so narrow-minded. Like I was really just enjoying college. My father told me that's what it was. So to me, I was supposed to have sex with women that I wanted to have sex with, and they were going to be cool with it.
Okay, so yeah, it's a romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. So I can't say I would do it, but not have sex with everybody. Okay, so
that answer changes.
Well, initially I was like, oh, I'd have a whole bunch of them, so then I could, you know.
Yeah, but you said you weren't going to have sex with everybody.
Yeah,
so
but then it's not a situationship, then, is it?
Why isn't it?
Because it says it.
You don't have to have sex.
Look, I looked up the definition, but. And when you just talked, you said in college you were having sex with a lot of women, but they weren't established relationships.
Correct.
And so,
I was in situationships.
My problem is I have not been able to have sex with someone and not have feelings. So, and when I did try, it didn't work. Like when I thought I could do it, I could not do it. No, that's true. No. I did. I had sex with somebody and didn't have any feelings for them. So I guess I could do that. But it felt kind of empty. It wasn't anything I wanted to continue on or anything.
But I think that just depends on who you're hanging around with to tell you what's okay and what's not okay. Because I don't think as a young woman, you knew that you didn't have to do a lot of things. You kind of just roll with whatever the guy said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to me, I feel like, how do you know? Like, without, you don't have that information. If you're just a young girl, like, do you believe situations? Because now looking back, would you've done half the things you've done?
I don't mind the things that I've done. I don't feel like I was super.
You don't think you've compromised yourself at all?
I mean, you compromise yourself every time when you're. No, yes, I have. I've definitely bent to the will.
So how can
someone else
like that's up? So I just want to make sure that when you say situationships, because whoever listens to this is going to get information from your perspective, and like I do want, like, some of the situations that we were in, you get in, you like, dang, I wish I wasn't in that situation. Like, what did I do? So what could you do then? As far as the situationship, how could you, like, make sure that this was healthy or not healthy? Like, looking back, I know that we got married and all, but would you have entertained me at all?
When? Knowing what I know now?
Yeah.
No. That's
what I'm saying. So, like, how do you avoid a potentially bad situation? Because even, I mean, you were into me early, right?
Yeah.
So that wasn't healthy for you, because I'm sure you had everybody you're with, you're like, you should not, this isn't the best decision for you. Like this.
Yeah. Well, you mean all my friends were saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm looking back, like, but see, that to me, that's cool too. Like, I want your friends to protect you. They weren't hating on me because I already knew what I was doing. Like maybe after we got married, I didn't want your friends to be saying that anymore. You know, but even then I was like, I know who I was.
Right.
Like, I was like, if your friends don't like me, like, there's something wrong with them, because I'm going to treat you the best way I can. Like, there's no other woman that I would treat better than you. Like, and I don't think there's a man at this point now, but then I know, like, there were men that could have wowed you. Just because they were exposed to what was important in the relationship and I wasn't. Because I was still on some player pimp mentality. Like I don't have to do all of that. Like, I wanted to do the things so you could say that I'm doing my 50%, but I didn't want to overdo it. I never, like, Yeah, like, cause I was like, I'm doing my part. Like now I overdo everything. And I feel like if you're not bothered by it, that means you enjoy it. You know, but I know that the average way that I did it, you know, but I don't want to get off the subject, but situationships, you said that you would have plenty of them. You just wouldn't have sex with everybody. But that's just that's what people do anyway, right?
I feel like now, when I was younger, I thought that there was some real weight behind a title. There isn't. Like, the title doesn't mean anything. It might, I mean, unless it means something to the both of you if you agree on it, but it doesn't matter if I'm the girl you kicking it with or if I'm your wife or if I'm your girlfriend. If you want to engage with somebody else and that's something that you're interested in, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter what my title is. What matters, so for me to be like, being in a sexual relationship with someone, but the relationship isn't like formal or whatever, that doesn't really mean anything to me. I think having relationships, when I look back, I wish I would have had more, been open to entertaining more men at once, because I don't think anybody should take up all of your time. I think you should get from people, you know, you should get from people the enjoyment that you want from them and what they want from you. And then, you know, if while I'm doing all of the things in my life and enjoying myself and getting to know people and engaging with a number of people, if I start feeling a draw to you and you feel a draw to me and we decide it's going to be like an established relationship, that's cool. But I didn't do that. When whoever I liked, that's who I wanted a relationship with. Like, and I was going to move toward that, and I wasn't thinking about nothing else. And I was trying to make it where they wouldn't think about anything else. Relationship. And I really shouldn't have been doing that, because what it did was it cut off opportunities to meet other people. Like, even I remember early on with you, like I was caught up in you. And you were still living your life, doing your thing. And even though you would say that you loved me or you would buy me really nice gifts and all this, like I could tell that I meant something to you. I was like head over heels and you were still busy everywhere else. And I remember my mom was like, you have to let him go, because my mom loves you now though, but she was like, you have to let him go, because I didn't have the mentality to even entertain or allow anyone else to take space in my life. I only allowed this one space and you were in it and that was it. And she said, you can't live like that and know that you've gotten everything you need to get out of this young life you have, because even when he's not around, this man is all the way in Florida and you're in Michigan. You walk around with him next to you every day. You ignore other people. You brush off anything anybody is ever saying to you, not in a mean way, but no one ever has an opportunity. And it doesn't even cross my mind that somebody should be able to have an opportunity.
You know what I call that?
What?
Look at God. Can you imagine?
That mess right there.
No, like, because, you know, my life kind of flashed before my eyes. Like your mother is absolutely right. I even told her, I do want everybody to know. Yeah. I told Kanika, I was like, you should get out and do what you do, meet some people. Yeah. I specifically, like, I did not want her to feel the way that she did about me.
But that wasn't my mentality. I said, when I like somebody, when I like you, I want you. I like you and I want you. So yeah, there was I didn't have that mind frame. Yeah. So there was no opportunity for anything else. And it really closed me off. So if my brain would have been focusing on situationships.
Oh yeah, this masterpiece right here would not have existed.
No, it wouldn't have existed. However, I would have learned a lot more and I would have grown in a different way.
But you don't know what that looks like.
I don't.
And you can't possibly so this is what I'm saying. Like,
let me just say though,
no doubt.
there was a lot of heartache in my viewpoint being involved with somebody with yours. So that's why I'm saying, if I couldn't be in a relationship with someone who wanted to be in a relationship, those were very, very tough years for me.
But can you imagine the person that you allowed to give you those tough years is purposely working every day so that at some point it's gonna make sense.
Yes, but I'm gonna say this. I don't believe that I should have to have heartache in order to feel this way now.
But you didn't have the eyes to be able to recognize what heartache was.
So then I'm looking back and I'm saying,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's great, that we got to this point. It very well. I mean, there were touch and go moments where we wouldn't have been. And then when I look back on my years, how would I have felt then? Like, it wouldn't have been look at God.
It is look at God.
No, because if we didn't grow this way, and
no, it only look at God because of my intentions for you. Like look, imagine the way that I've been operating. Like, my intentions every single day. Do you know what that looks like in 3 years?
Yes, but what I'm saying is, as a young woman, with very, very, like, I'm a seasoned woman now. I'm a seasoned woman in understanding of being a married woman, and being involved with someone with your type of personality and your viewpoints, which often are not mine, right? When I look back, I was a young woman and I had stars in my eyes and I was innocent. Like, I wasn't innocent.
Oh, I don't recommend it for anyone.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't walking around being like the Virgin Mary, but what I'm saying is I was innocent and green in the idea of love.
Yeah, you weren't the Virgin Mary, but you was definitely Jesus' baby sister.
Shut up. But anyway, it was like, I was green. You know what I'm saying? I was well behind the ears for real. And I got a lot of heartache in those years.
I didn't believe you were as green as you were.
Yes, but I was. And so I got a lot of heartache, and I don't wish that heartache on anybody else. And I really don't wish that heartache on younger me. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, you said, if you knew what you knew now, would you have, entertained me? And I said no.
Because it hasn't been worth it yet.
Yes. No. I enjoy my time with you. I love being with you. I do. I can't say that as a younger woman, I would be able to say, Kanika, you just need to get through 20 years.
Because then
it's going to be great.
No, because it hasn't happened. I'm telling you this. There's going to be a moment in your life, and whatever we're saying, it's going to be like the Kaiser Sose at the end of Usual Suspects. Everything is going to be like, boom, boom, boom. You be like, oh, this is what he was trying to say. Because to me, I feel like you're not receiving my message yet.
I understand that this is great.
No. I didn't say no.
There's even more greatness to come.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you haven't.
I know. But what I'm saying is in that mind frame that I had then, I would not wish that heartache. And when I say heartache, I mean, I would have tears that it would make my face hurt. It felt like my bones ached. Like, I was hurt. And it's not like you were trying to, like, hurt me.
Correct.
But for me to want and focus on and I felt like I was only cut out to be in a relationship. I wasn't cut out to be in situationships. I needed somebody to be with me and say that. And part of that is my childhood and my father. My father made me that way because he didn't appreciate my mother the way that my stepfather did. And when I realized that was what I was supposed to have, my stepdad and my mom, that's what I was supposed to have, I was dead set on anything I had was focused on that. And so for me to be in that mind frame and to meet you and somehow we ended up melding together one way or another, one thing that kept me was that you would tell me you loved me and you would take care of me. But the other thing that I used to fight all the time is I wasn't the only one you cared about. And we were honest as much as we could be about our feelings. And you would even say, like, I date other people, and I care. Oh, I used to hate, I care for them. I care about them. I hated that.
I know, but do you understand now? Like when I say care, I cared for their well-being. Like I wanted them to do well.
Yeah, I get it.
Nothing
but
like
at the same time, you were intimate with them.
I know, but you to me, I feel like again, like I was intimate with them, but I'm telling you now, as a seasoned man, it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you as a young woman.
But I'm saying, but it still seems like it hasn't clicked. Like no, I was really just moving through life like a
I
ignorant
definitely
dude.
I recognize who you were. I recognize that you were a young man. I recognize that you were, and I'm not faulting you for what you did. You were living a life that I feel like I would have benefited from if I thought like you. And that's what I'm saying. If I were at your age, if I were my younger self and I thought the way you did in your younger ages, I think it would have been better for me.
I think you possibly could be single if you thought like me.
And that's fine.
I'm not at this age. I'm talking about this age. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because the way young men think at that age, like we're clouded by a perception of what other people think.
Somebody had told me the person you are is the person that you would have felt safe with when you were younger.
Say it again.
The person you are now is the person that you would have felt safer with when you were younger. And I feel like you want me to look at the entire picture. But what I'm saying to you is 40-something-year-old me looking back at 23-year-old me, she would be safe with me because I would tell her, like, this isn't the way that you're going. All of this is going to hurt you.
But but I'm saying I wouldn't have lived the life I lived with the information I have now. I would be a total different young man.
But see, the difference is if you were a total different young man and we crossed paths, I would have been open to it. That's the difference. I think that in your years,
I would have never spoken with you though, like, because I was the immature. Like I don't know if I would have been able to say, hey, the most appropriate. I don't think I would have been able to do that.
I think that one of the things, and I might be wrong, but when I'm looking at it myself, at that age, you were in situationships and you were not open to a relationship.
Correct.
And I feel like I would have been open to situationships, but I would have also been open to a relationship.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
Yes. That's why I'm saying I would have been open to that. I did not even allow myself the opportunity. And I think it would have made me stronger. It would have made it, even if you and I continue to be the more dominant relationship in one another's lives, it would have saved me a lot more heartache.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying I would look back and I would tell her, don't entertain that. Don't entertain him the way you did. The way you put him in a place all his own and no one else was allowed. Don't entertain that. I enjoyed you even as a young man. I would have still been drawn to you. Yeah, but I'm saying I think needed possibly to be smarter.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you opened up a different path or whatnot. And I'm thinking, because I didn't think about that. As much as I hate it, it's all going to make sense at some point. And like, look, check this out. I didn't even know I could hurt anybody the way that you show me. Like, in my mind, like, you can't possibly think I even thought it was an option. Like, in my head, I'm like, this is the game. Like, I thought the rules were the same.
Well, I think that was one of the things that was always confusing because you're a very caring person. Mm-hmm. You really care about people, but you're extremely selfish. So, well, especially then. So what I mean by that is you really cared about the people that you were involved with. But in the end, nobody was going to get anything out of you that you didn't want. And so it was like,
But I was open about it though. I was like, I don't want a relationship.
No, but that's what I'm saying. As a younger person, that was one of the things that would draw. Like, I know you didn't want to hurt anybody because that wasn't the kind of person you were. But at the same time, it's like, because you didn't want to hurt anybody, you wanted everybody to feel special. You wanted everybody to feel cared for, and you worried about them, and and you got upset with them if they did something that probably would hurt them or, hinder them somehow. That was the ultimate, like, it was like a mind game, but not a mind game, because in a woman's heart, like, this is a relationship. Like, I love him. And then you're looking like, now she's happy. I care about her. And so I'm going to continue to move on and do what I want. Like, I'll never be in a relationship with her. But
I didn't think like that. I just felt like...
Look, one time, let me tell y'all real quick. One time I said, John, hypothetically speaking, say we were in a relationship. Look, I didn't even get to finish the scenario. John said, oh, that would never happen. That would never happen. We would never be together. Now, this is early on, but it was when I started feeling something for you. And I was throwing this scenario out because we were all talking about something that related. But I made it about you and I. And your response stopped me in my tracks.
You know what? Look. I've just replayed that in... Like, look, I can tell you, I was adamant too.
I know.
I had never thought about you and I being together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't even look at, like, you are crazy. You like, what? You won't even just think about the situation?
Yeah, because I was like, you ain't even let me, like, get the situation out to be able to say something. This dude just was like, let's just stop to talk about relationships, period.
So no, I think I know what because I'm not that type of person either. So I think what it was is that if I allowed you to play a hypothetical game, you were going to get your point that you were trying to make before you were trying to tell me.
You see how trifling he is.
Oh, I was. I didn't want to be wrong. So I'm because I was like, I was not that mean.
Either way it goes, it was trash.
No, but I'm saying I wasn't that mean. Like, I was like, damn, that was mean. Like, no,
but we've laughed a number of times because you were like, that was
crazy. And she still was interested in me.
I was.
But yeah, I can see how that looks now. But yeah, like, I was so immature.
Yes, but getting back to what I was saying, it's very confusing for a woman to get that type of attention.
See, to me, I thought those were the Maslow's hierarchy. These are the bare essentials you need. Yeah, to me, I felt like that's what you're supposed to. Yeah, that's what I always thought.
But it was I want to say it was a mind something, but I'm not. It was very, very confusing for a woman to have feelings for you and for you to reciprocate in that way. And then to know that you had no chance of being in a relationship with him. And then when it got to a point where I was your primary person, I'll say that, in your lineup. Oh my God. The feelings of the other women, like when you would talk to them and tell them who I was, it was so weird because number one, I feel like I couldn't even imagine you talking to me that way if I were them. Like, that would be so hurtful because of the way you reciprocate in your situationships. It feels so much like a relationship. And it makes it almost impossible for your heart to be able to make that distinction. And then when you sit there and you be like, oh, but Kanika. So I remember when I came to visit you in Orlando, and you remember the girl you were dealing with, she was like, I have to meet this woman that's like states away. I want to know who keeps your attention, and she ain't even here. And then there was another one, your roommate, that she was not feeling that stuff. And she had to sit there and watch me visit. And you've talked about me, bought gifts, she's seen it and all the other stuff. I could not even imagine how that felt. So my heartache, I definitely had heartache, but I didn't have that. And I know that it was not your intention to ever make anybody feel like that, but that's the danger of situationships, and you are with someone who has no intention of a relationship ever being a possibility. Like, it's different if, nothing's really established. If it does, then hey. But you were like, nah, it won't ever.
Oh my gosh.
So that's hard.
But I was up front.
You were, but it was weird because you were up front, but then you would turn around and you would be like, I care about you so much, I can't believe you did that in your class. You better get your classes together. Let's talk about, like, you made people feel like this is my dude. And then you'd be like, yes, thank you. So see me again tomorrow between 1 and 3. I need to go and, manage my other people. And so that's really hard. Yeah. So situationships, I definitely wish I would have advised my younger self and even my older self. If I were to enter back into the single lifestyle, I would say situationships are necessary because you don't know who you're missing because you're walking around with this person at your side. And that's not even like the relationship. I needed it to look like a relationship, and it hindered me from learning about what kind of man I wanted. I learned what kind of man I wanted through our marriage and finding out what I didn't like. It wasn't like I got to see the things I liked and I didn't like, and then I was like, oh, it was like I learned what kind of husband I really, really wanted and needed through trial and error with one person. And that one person wasn't thinking like me from the jump of when we met. And so it's always been kind of misaligned. Like, I've only learned from you. And then if I'm hurt, I was only hurt by you. Mm-hmm. And so you carry the responsibility of every experience I've ever had. And that's not necessarily fair either.
Oh, it is now.
I mean, but
no, but like, so, I was just thinking, I was like, wow, like the way that you just put it into words made me think like, I know where my mindset was. I was like, you've already got the best husband, like in my head. Like, I was like, I was holding on to my single accolades. Mm-hmm. It was so crazy. And then like, as I got older, I was like, what am I really doing? And I'm like I'll tell you this, the families that are really, really good, it was probably because of the woman. The woman brings so much to a family that men are not exposed to. Like, what my son is being exposed to is something that excites me about when he becomes an adult, because the relationship my wife and I have, to me, is so healthy. And, he sees us talk all the time. He sees that we enjoy each other's company. Like, he's going to look for somebody who's looking for that. And I'll tell you this, I believe that most women would like to find their person without the heartache. They want to be treated correctly in the first go round. Yeah. But I think that you went through that so that I could be an example, that because he's not going to know any of that stuff. Like, he's going to see, like, just like I rub your feet every day. And he says, Father, why are you doing that? I was like, because I love your mother, and, her feet need some love.
She won't go get a pedicure.
No, but you don't need to, unless you just wanted some me time at a pedicure, to go get a pedicure. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, these are the things that he sees. And it's not like you're making me do it. It's because I want to do it. And it's not like you reminding me. He sees that it's just something that's a part of my life. Like, my everyday, when we're together, I want your feet to feel loved, because you like, I always look at feet differently, because my father was like, that's the first thing they cut off. you know, but that was because of health reasons or whatnot. But I was like, as long as like if we're gonna be in places where it's gonna be warm, I want you to not feel like you can't have your feet out. Because I tell you this, I've seen your feet when they haven't been done, and I'm like, oh, we need some lotion. But now I feel like this.
I can, yeah, and I'll do the look. I don't want you to think that I'll be walking around looking like I kick chalk. Like,
no, I'm just saying, but you don't have to worry about your feet looking good. Like, you don't have to prep them up now.
Oh
like,
no, I don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if
already ready.
If we go somewhere and it was like, everybody take your socks off, you're not gonna be like, you're gonna be like, I'm good.
That is horrible.
That's what, but I'm saying, like, I touch your feet more than I touch my own. So the situationship thing, like, I don't like it if sex is involved. And I just feel like sex, if the person is not mature enough, they could look at sex as being more than what it really is. And I don't want sex to cloud anybody's judgment. And I feel like the ignorance of man, we feel like that's a goal to knock it down, but to be mature enough to be like, is this somebody, if a mistake happens, that we're going to like go this way? Is this like, I want my son to have thoughts of a young man that says, if I'm going to play this adult game, I need to play it with somebody that I could be committed with. Mm-hmm. Because the game that I was playing, I was like, I was getting to know people.
What's the percentage of the people you're dealing with that you could have had children with and moved on and done all that?
That's something that I don't want to waste too much time.
It was like, how many people are in this pool that I have to consider?
You know, that's why I feel like when we get to that point, you're gonna understand what I was trying to give you. Like, all of this information is like, hopefully it adds up. I feel like this is like going toward our 10,000 hours of the relationship, because a lot of these conversations we haven't had conversations about. And so when you was like, you know, I wouldn't want anybody to go through that pain. That's the reason why it gives me joy to know that you're going to, at some point, you're going to be like, okay, he was right. I'm driven to that. That's the reason why I'm like, because I want you to know that the pain you went through, I had no idea. I didn't even know, like, the ignorance of it. And I'm like, I want you to know that the ignorant part of me is embarrassed because you still don't understand how ignorant I was.
Yeah, that's in line with me just saying you were very selfish. You were very self-centered.
I was, but that's what I'm saying. Growing up the way that I was. Correct. That's what I'm saying. I'm still embarrassed with the ignorance of it all. That's the reason why I know when we get to this place, you be like, if you want to get here, maybe you have to go mess with an idiot.
No. I went the.
But now it's easier now because there's information out here that they can listen. Hey, fellas, you don't have to be a scumbag your whole life.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if I had some information, like, I'm like, dang, you mean these women that mean nothing, I could mess up my destiny by an accident? Like, why would you keep you increase the chances of your life not being able to become who you want to be by playing that game. And only poor people play that game. Yeah, like when I say poor people, I'm referring to all people who are ignorant to how valuable they are. Like, if you go out and you are having situationships and having sex with all of them, like, you can't possibly think that you're going to have a happy ending. Like, it's going to be difficult. Like, you're increasing your chances. But you're like you just said, if women were being treated like the way that I treated women, if more men did that, it'd be some problems. Because, like you said, that
mind would be messed up.
Yeah, that's that, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but I also don't want to like I do think, and like I said, I do think there was value in the idea of those setups. It just has to be mutually,
Communication needs to be for real. Like yeah, that's what I'm saying. The mutual thing is one of those things where,
and I don't mean mutual like you tell me and then I agree to what you're saying. I'm saying
both of you guys have the same,
and then you have that stance too. Like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I feel like if women did that more, I think women, they can't be blinded by the bright lights of a dude also. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes a lot of questions that they would ask somebody that they're not really interested in, but if they answer it right, it's like, I'll go for it. But sometimes they don't ask those hard questions to the bright lights in the guy because they like,
they don't want him to mess it up.
Yes.
I already want to have sex with you. Please don't mess it up with your mouth.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. No, and you don't want the one you like because you like how he looks or you like his little personality or whatever.
Or like he has a nice job. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want him to ruin it somehow where you're going to have to be like, oh, God, I wish you wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying.
I gotta feel differently about you.
See? Like, I think situationships can only be good if you're not having sex. Because sex is going to happen, but you could ruin everything through sex because somebody's reading too much into it or not enough.
Well, I think that's also one of those moments in which there has to be an understanding because I've had sex and not had any feelings whatsoever toward that person.
Well,
I mean, so it's like I do tend to like if I like you and we have sex, it does like connect me more. It makes a stronger draw. But if you're one of those people where it's like there's no feeling behind it, I'm just fulfilling a desire.
I think you were really young when you were there. So I think like that perspective would be kind of because to me, I feel like women shouldn't be just having sex with anybody if they don't have feelings. Like you shouldn't just be because you could end up pregnant by somebody, or let's say if you get her pregnant, I'm not gonna have the kid. You could go put your body through some bad situation. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I feel like if it's not worth it, why are you doing it? Like, what do you really like what he can give you some really good sex, but he doesn't have this other stuff. And now if you get pregnant by this guy who gave you some really good sex, but he don't have this other stuff, you look real stupid. So I feel like if you don't think of the consequence of playing that fast life, and I'm telling you, I was living a particular lifestyle, like, the situationship thing was for real. My father said this is the best years of my life. So that's the way that I thought I was supposed to live. And I can say I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do it all over that way. Like I'm telling you that I was fooling. It was like I wasn't supposed to be here. I just one mistake ruins everything on how I got here. And I believe in it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so happy that like the way I talked about that, I told Dallas, I was like, hey, are you looking forward to having sex? He said, should I be? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think anybody your age should be looking forward to having sex because just imagine if somebody gets pregnant. That means my son will be the most terrible father in the world because he can't see his daughter or son each night because he got to go home to his parents. It's like, that's not good at all.
Yeah.
I was like, I just believe if you're gonna have sex, you probably should wait till you're an adult, so that if you do make a mistake, at least you evaluated the person and say this person deserves a mistake if it's gonna go there. But I would wait till I'm older. And he was just like, I don't think it would be a good idea either. I was like, that's pretty dope, because at that age, I'm about to have sex. Mm-hmm. My time is coming. I'm about to have.
Yeah.
Like in my freshman year, like in September.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't happen again until another year. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, it just becomes regular. So I'm increasing my chances. Like as I get older, I'm realizing I didn't know. I now realize that I was pretty smooth. And it wasn't even like I was just a really smooth person. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it was. I really cared about you. And that was the smoothness of it all. Mm-hmm. Like I just really cared about people. Like I only want the best. Like if we're going to do this is just fun. Mm-hmm. But I do want you to do well if we don't work. Like it ain't that serious. Like I want you to do well. So to me, I feel like he'll be able to have the characteristics of a young man that a woman is looking for. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully he'll look at it like, I just want to see if our personalities are good. Mm-hmm. She's like, we got to have sex first. And was like, I don't know if I deal with your personality. I want him to be able to say it in the nicest way. Like, I don't move that fast. I want him to be like, look, if I'm going to do it, it's because, like I'm mature enough to be able to handle this if it goes the wrong way. But I would prefer him to not experiment as much, because I just feel like we could have a person he don't want to be with.
Yeah.
And that'll be sad. Like we got a grandbaby by somebody we don't want him to be. Like now we're attached. Now we got to do whatever we can to make them successful.
Yeah.
That's a different commitment. Yeah. And to me, I feel like we have to make sure that he is as responsible as it gets whenever, he does make that, because like, wouldn't you want him to be responsible like that?
Yeah.
But that stuff don't happen when you out there taking a chance every chance you get. He's like, you know what? I'm trying to ruin my life early.
You're so ignorant.
No, I'm serious. No, so that's the way I feel about situationships. I feel like if you can do it without sex, I think it'll be the most beneficial. Because sex is not as important as people think. And if it is, you can't be as happy as you should be then. Like, everybody could use more sex. But if that's the source of your happiness, your relationship is not going to last too long. Just because. But then, anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
I want to give a shout out to 21-year-old Kanika. She was like the ultimate hoe. She was like, I went through that so they wouldn't have to go through that. So I appreciate my journey. I do. I definitely wish love, and I wish more light onto that Kanika, but I appreciate her.
Yeah.
So shout out to 21-year-old me.
Shout out to her. Shout out to all the other years too, until she got to this John. Because I'm telling you, like, look, we're gonna get out of here, but I just want to say this. Like, I love my wife, but I was just so ignorant. And the person that I am now, like, I couldn't be here without her. Like, I really couldn't.
Shout out to 43-year-old Kanika. I went through that so y'all wouldn't have to go through that.
You so stupid.
So John could go through that. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I matured a lot. And I'm looking forward to being able to answer some questions at some point, to give people some different options on how to be successful in the idea of a relationship, because you deserve only the best relationship out there. So don't waste your time on bright lights. Bright lights. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.